Hi everyone, welcome to the video for day 3 of the 2016 Aintree Grand National meeting. Today was an absolute bloodbath from a punting point of view. Obviously, the news of the day was the really heavy fall from Vitor, which you didn't see coming. I don't think anyone did. I don't know what happened. I haven't had a chance to look back at the race. He seemed to be travelling and jumping with his usual zest. I think he just tried to take a stride that wasn't there, and he came down. And that kind of set the tone, I suppose, for before and after the day there. Limini, for whatever reason, didn't fully run up to what you'd expect in Tempo 2, even though I didn't fancy him to win it today. As you know, I fancied Black Lion. Didn't expect to do. There was obviously big outsiders filling all the places in the Topham. Baliandi even flopped to some degree back in 4th, which cost me the TriCast. I was gutted about because, as you know, I was doing all the TriCasts of Battleford, Barcardi's and Baliandi. And yeah, Ballydean just didn't go, and yeah, it's just one of them days. But tomorrow's another day, and we'll see where we go. And it starts a bit later tomorrow, because obviously the Grand National's at 5:15 this year. And it starts with the 3-mile handicap hurdle in the 145. Now, the horse I really like here is one that actually tipped up in the Per Temps final at the festival, which is If in Doubt. To be honest, Richard Johnson gave this a terrible ride in the Per Temps. He was cruising. It had the whole track to go for. He ran to the back of a horse and then another horse, and then he switched up the inside. Then he came and I watched it back last night, and I still don't know fully what he was trying to do. But he gets to race off the same mark today, and providing he's better on, because he needed every ounce of that hill to get there, as long as he gets going earlier. Barry Geraghty's on it this time, which makes it feel a bit better, to be honest. I think compensation awaits today, and I think the 12 to 1's a big price. Arpège de Laine finished 1 place ahead of him last time, and technically he's got a £1 pull in the weight. I think that actually demonstrates that the handicappers duly noted that If in Doubt would have easily finished ahead of him, and I think now that's enough to get past him there. Longhouse Hall was one that I actually said would come into the 3 at Cheltenham in the Coral, and he was really unlucky in running. But 2 things on here. One, he's actually up a lot in the weight. He's another one who had some bad luck in running. So he's up a lot in the weight, and also the form of the Coral has taken some pretty hefty knocks these last 2 days, so that's slightly tempering there. King's Palace bounced back at the festival when he came 3rd, but he's in and out, and away from Cheltenham where he seems to keep his best. Would you trust him to do it again? I can't take that chance. Squouter, or whatever you call it, for Gordon Elliott was a huge gamble at the festival, and it went completely astray. There's a chance he may be better than that form that he showed. But once again, I don't know if that was the day where they were going for it. Maybe the step up in 3 mile do it. He just never featured. So maybe, he could come better again. My Door's interesting because AJ Martin, the trainer, just loves these handicap plots that he comes up to. He was a very good 3rd on his latest. He's a distance winner over 3 miles, so I think the step up is a good move. The slight temperament thing that I've got on this is the ground. I don't know whether the ground is, if he's better on better ground or really heavy, to be honest. That's the thing with these Martin handicap horses. It's, they'll either go in or they'll come last. It's that type of thing, really. So, but he should run a really good race. I think he's kind of probably been targeted at this. Very interesting is a horse called Eshtial for Gordon Elliott. His last jump run was 2 starts ago, and he actually came 2nd in America to Dawalan, who used to race in England for Nicky Henderson. I actually tipped him up, I think, for this race last year for Nicky Henderson, actually, if anyone watches it back. But that 2nd there seems to be pretty good. He then came back over to these shores. He had a pipe opener at Dundalk and actually won on the flat, so it proves he's in good heart. He's right down the bottom. He's got a claim of taking weight off it. If he handles this softer ground, he could be absolutely thrown in here. And it could be one of those that you're just thinking, what was I thinking? So it's a really tough start. But from a 1, 2, 3, I'm going for If in Doubt to beat Eshtial with My Door back in 3rd is what I'm actually going for there. I've just making a note here for myself. The 225 is the 2.5 mile novice, and this is all about York Hill, this one. He obviously won the Neptune, beat Yanworth, which is a very good yardstick. The ground is absolutely fine, and to be honest, there should be nothing in here to make him worry. Bello Conti and Ghost River were miles behind him on Neptune form, so there's no reason to fear them, I don't think. Prince of Steel and the Dutchman aren't good enough for this grade, with all due respect to them. The one's more towards the prominent in the betting is Le Pretien, who's solid and he holds the Dutchman, but I said I don't know how good that form is. But even on his very best, he's still rated £14 behind Yorkhill, over a stone worse. So it will be an unbelievable leap of faith if Yorkhill stands up to somebody to go, oh, he's going to go and win it. If I was looking for a forecaster on each way play here, I'd actually look at Nigel Twiston-Davies, Flying Angel. He's very consistent. As I said, the yards in form, they've been getting winners and placed efforts at Cheltenham, at Aintree all week. Today they had, I think, a win and two places, and if you include Ballyandy in fourth. And the festival form of the race he was in is actually getting franked quite well. So I think over 2.5 miles, bearing in mind, yeah, he won the, He won the Imperial over 2 mile. I think the step up to 2.5 won't be a problem. He's probably the one for the forecast for me, but it's all about Yorkhill. 1, 2, 3, Yorkhill from Flying Angel and Le Pretien. In the 3 mile, again, another short price. 3 o'clock is the 2 mile novice, and again, it's all about Douvan. We saw with Vautour that, horses can fall, and that's just the nature of the game. But with this, you always have to assume the best and think that horses are going to stand up. And Douvan is all class. He's got form on soft in France, so the ground has no worries. He goes on good. And yeah, with a clear round, it's impossible again to oppose Douvan, really. The form of 3 of his main contenders here is those who finished in his wake in the, or 2 of those is those who finished in his wake in the Arkle. Fox Norton came 3rd that day, and it's a pretty reliable yardstick, but is obviously light years behind Douvan. But I think the one who came 4th that day was the game changer, but I think he would have been closer than Fox Norton and would have definitely come in 3, probably even closer than that. But he was really, really badly hampered when I think it was Vanator unseated at the second last. I think Game Changer will turn the form with Fox Norton, but he's still way short of Douvan. Ballyboli's been doing well in lesser company, and of a bit more interest for me is Azilier Delande, who's been in very, very good form, but everything he's done is on heavy ground. Looking outside now, yeah, there's a bit of rain, but a bit of sun. I don't think it's going to be heavy, and I don't know if he's going to find things happening a bit too quick for him. This 1, 2, 3 here, Douvan from the Game Changer and Azilier Delande. 340 is the Stayers Hurdle and another odds-on favourite on all form you can't oppose, and that is Thistlecrack, the World Hurdle winner. He's a course and distance winner in the handicap last year. He's won all 4 starts this year without coming off the bridle, and there's absolutely no reason on form why he wouldn't do it again. Shane's Hill's interesting because he was a very good second in the RSA, and while Black Lion was 3rd today, I think he needs even more of a test of stamina than 3 mile on a flat track like Aintree. I think that's why Cheltenham suits him. But he was very good that day. I think Willie Mullins is after place money for the trainers title out here, and that's why they're shifting him back to hurdles. Aqualim and Serien Shock both look to be outclassed in this level. If you're looking for a big price for an each-way play, though, Prince of Scars is interesting because on his last run back in December, he absolutely slammed Alpha Dizobo by 10 lengths. And obviously Alpha then went and played second fiddle to Thistlecrack, which in the festival, which is probably the best form in the Stayers division on offer. So if you go and take a back seat to that, he was the second string for Gigginstown that day. He's actually got the beaten of the second favourite of the World Hurdle, and he's about 14-1. He's fresh, so providing, he's fully over, because clearly something hasn't been right, that's why he's been off for so long, because beating Alpha Dizobo was second favourite for Cheltenham, you would have thought he would have been at the festival. Providing he's okay and his well-being's good, 14-1 could be the each-way play here. Different gravy's in for Nicky Henderson, and this horse is improving all season. He's been getting better and better. Very impressive last time out. He's stepping up to 3 miles here for the first time, and that must temper it slightly, even though you can win well over 2.5, trying to then get another half a mile. Some do, some don't, but he should run a solid place for the each ways, basically. 1, 2, 3 here, though. Thistlecrack from Prince of Scars and Different Gravy. That's 4. Then, the next one is the 420, which is a really impossible handicap chase for me, this one. Virac for Paul Nicholls would interest me because he was very, very consistent before his last run when he just emptied so fast, which is a bit of a concern. Now, if you ignore that, even with top weights, he's a classy horse. He would have a very good chance on form. Knockhouse interests me because he came 5th in the King Muir to Cause of Causes, who I obviously rate pretty highly, and he travelled well but just tired up the hill. He's been dropped in the weights for it. and he's back on a flatter track, and I think both of them, where it didn't suit Black Lion today, I think it will actually suit Knockhouse. I think Nina Carberry's back for the ride again, which will be good. She rode him well at the festival, and I think that could be a really good bet for this race. Coolog is likely to be favourite, and he's been very consistent without winning. That's the worry. He's not getting the let up from the handicapper, and I think, 6-1 in places now. Yeah, he could win, but that seems plenty short enough. But I suppose the one thing about it is he should run his race. You should get a run for your money. Thomas Brown is classy, but he's lost his way quite a bit, actually. 2 runs ago, they stepped him out of novice company early, and he was completely out on his feet. He run a lot better at Cheltenham last time, but just seemed to not last home, which is not really like him. They're throwing him out of handicap company again today, and while he's 12-1, I do have a few reservations of Thomas Brown. While Rock de Abscisse is interesting, he was a very good, a good third last time, but the one thing about it was his jumping was horrendous. He made so many mistakes, so he actually did really, really well to come third. Iron that jumping out, he could be a really interesting horse. Another slight worry I have with this though, he's had 1 course run and came 7th of 7. Anyone can have an off day, but it makes me worry, that one, to be honest with you. It's basically one of those impossible races, really, where you could make a case for everything. But from a 1, 2, 3, I'm going for Knockhouse to beat Coolog. And I'm going to put Virak in, give him a chance to maybe bounce back from form. I'm doing a separate video as requested for the Grand National. I don't know why, because as you've seen today, my record over the national fences sucks. But I'm going to do it because, hey, that's what the people ask for. So we're missing the 5:15 for now, and we're going straight to the 6:10, which is the Amateur Riders Hurdle. Once again, Aintree leave us with one of the hardest races you could ever want to get a winner in to get you out of trouble. But we've got to try. Ale Blur's interesting. He's in form, and 2 starts back, he was actually not disgraced. He got beaten about 20 lengths in the end, but it was in a Group 3 in the Imperial Cup. Now, as I said, that form's looking quite solid. So if, what's his name, earlier on in the day, Flying Angel runs a decent race, then that'll frank the form a bit. He does need soft, so if the juice stays in the ground, he could be a pretty good, he could give you a good run for your money. The one I really like, and I can't believe it's actually 12-1, is Frodon for Paul Nicholls. Paul Nicholls has been doing well with these amateur riders races. He's got some good amateurs who he rides for. And he ran really well in the Triumph. He was there till 2 out, and he just blew up going over the hill. Apple's Jade has obviously franked the form and came second in the Triumph by recording, which I only found out today is the biggest margin win in a Group 1 for a long time, or it could have been ever, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And Ivanovic Gorbachev, the ground was against him, but he still ran into the places. This race is obviously an amateur rider's race. It's a lot less competitive than the Triumph. And I can't believe Frodon's 12-1. I don't think he's going to be 12-1 at the off. I think he's going to be single figures, so I'm actually getting on tonight. Thunder Chic is interesting. He's in form horse, and again, from Nigel Twiston Davis. Yard where they're going really, really well. He seems to go on any ground, and once again, there's nothing to discourage you from backing Thunder Chic. I think he's got a very good chance. Ryan Hatch is on board. He's probably the best amateur, in my opinion, riding there, along with Nina Carberry. Nestorenko, Nicky Henderson is consistent, but all of his best form has been on a lot faster ground good and the odd good to soft. And if it is what Aintree is saying it is, and it's soft tomorrow, then I still think that, it might be a bit soft for Nestorenko. Automated is the favourite. He's consistent. He's obviously come over from Ireland, so whether the English handicap has caught up with him, who knows. But his latest third to lift the latch was actually let down at Fairy House over the Easter weekend, so that's slightly putting me off, especially in an amateur riders race. And all set to go, you've got to mention, because he's another one for Paul Nicholls. He's solid, but he really needs to step up on what he's done so far. I'm not saying he can't, but he'll have to. It's an impossible close, really, to Aintree, but from a 1, 2, 3 here, I'm going for Frodon to beat Thunder Chic, and I'm going to put Ale Blur in it as well. Well, thanks again for watching, and yeah, keep an eye out, because the video for just the Grand National will be on at some point this evening too. As always, any comments, just post them, and yeah, I always reply to them where I can. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.